The city buzzed with life, neon lights flickering as I maneuvered through the evening crowd. A chilly breeze brushed against my skin, but it wasn't the cold making me uneasy. It was the message I'd read earlier. Meet me at Velour at 8. We need to talk. Emma rarely sent cryptic messages. My wife preferred directness, but this felt different. As I entered the restaurant, warmth enveloped me, soft jazz humming through hidden speakers. Candlelight flickered against mahogany tables, casting golden reflections across pristine wine glasses. My gaze scanned the room, and there she was, Emma, breathtaking as ever in an emerald dress that hugged her in all the right places. But my admiration faltered when I noticed the man seated across from her. Tall, confident, dressed in an expensive charcoal suit, exuding the kind of presence that demanded attention. His dark hair was neatly styled, his chiseled jawline accentuated by the dim lighting. He wasn't just another stranger. He was someone significant. I approached with measured steps, forcing my expression into neutrality. Emma looked up, her emerald eyes flashing with something unreadable before she smiled. "Darling, you're here," she said, her voice smooth, controlled. "Meet Nathaniel, an old friend." Nathaniel turned, extending his hand. His grip was firm, his gaze steady. "Pleasure. Emma has told me a lot about you." I shook his hand, studying him. "Funny. She hasn't mentioned you before." Emma laughed lightly, swirling her wine. "Oh, it's been years. We recently reconnected." Something in her tone sent an uneasy ripple through me, but I pushed it aside. Dinner progressed, filled with carefully curated small talk. Nathaniel was charming, too charming. His eyes lingered on Emma just a second too long, his smirk holding something behind it, something I couldn't quite place. Then it happened. Beneath the table, Emma's foot brushed against my leg, a familiar, teasing motion. My pulse quickened, but as I glanced at her, I realized something chilling. Her body wasn't angled toward me. It was leaning toward Nathaniel. The realization struck like ice in my veins. Dessert arrived, but my appetite had long disappeared. Nathaniel excused himself, and as he walked away, Emma exhaled, as if releasing some hidden tension. "You seem quiet," she murmured, tilting her head. "I didn't expect company tonight," I admitted. She smiled, soft, mysterious. "We just caught up. That's all." I wanted to believe her. I needed to. But the way she looked at him, the way his name rolled off her lips, it ignited something dark inside me. The night wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Doubt festered within me like a wound refusing to heal. Emma's laughter still echoed in my head, the way her eyes sparkled at Nathaniel's words. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind tangled in suspicion. She slept beside me, her breathing slow, steady, as if nothing had changed. But something had. I felt it deep in my bones. Morning arrived with an eerie stillness. Emma moved through the house like nothing was amiss, pressing a kiss to my cheek before heading to work. I watched her go, tension coiling in my chest. Curiosity bled into obsession. I started noticing things, subtle shifts in her routine. Late nights, unanswered calls, hurried text messages she never let me see. Once, I walked into the room as she ended a call, her expression flickering with something unreadable before she forced a smile. "Who was that?" I asked, my voice deceptively casual. "Work," she answered too quickly, slipping her phone into her pocket. "Nothing important." But it was a lie. Days passed, each one tightening the noose of my suspicions. Then, an opportunity presented itself. Emma left her phone unattended while showering. My hands trembled as I picked it up, scrolling through messages, searching for confirmation of what I already knew deep inside. And then I saw it. "Nathaniel, last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you." The words blurred before my eyes. A hollow numbness spread through my chest. Fingers gripped the device, my pulse hammering in my ears. The woman I loved, the woman I trusted, betraying me in the arms of another. I could have confronted her right then, could have thrown the phone at the wall, demanded answers, screamed accusations. But anger had never been my way. No, I needed certainty. Proof. And so, I followed her. That evening, she dressed with meticulous care, dark red lipstick, a dress that clung to every curve. My throat burned as I watched her check her reflection, adjusting a delicate chain around her neck. Going out? I asked, feigning indifference. She didn't miss a beat. Dinner with colleagues. Late meeting ran over, so we're making up for lost time. Another lie. I nodded, watching as she slipped on her heels and walked out the door. Moments later, I was in my car, trailing her. The route was unfamiliar, leading to an upscale district lined with towering hotels and sleek bars. She parked outside an exclusive high-rise, stepping out with effortless grace. My breath hitched as the doors swung open, revealing Nathaniel waiting inside, his smirk widening as she approached. She leaned into him, her hands brushing against his chest, her lips parting as she whispered something that made him chuckle. He took her hand, guiding her toward the elevator. I sat frozen, fingers gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. My stomach twisted, nausea rising. Every part of me screamed to storm inside, to rip them apart, to demand an explanation. But I didn't. Instead, I waited. Minutes stretched into an eternity before I made my decision. Stepping out, I followed their path, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. The penthouse floor loomed above, the elevator doors gliding open in eerie silence. Then I saw them. Through the partially open door, shadows danced against the dimly lit suite. Soft laughter spilled into the hallway, followed by hushed whispers. Then movement, Nathaniel's hands sliding down Emma's back, gripping her waist possessively. And she let him. My world shattered. But even through the agony, something unexpected flickered inside me. A darkness I had never acknowledged before. And then she turned. Her emerald eyes locked onto mine. And she smiled. The moment Emma's eyes met mine, my breath caught in my throat. She didn't flinch. No shock, no guilt, no attempt to hide what she had done. Instead, she tilted her head, amusement dancing in those emerald depths. Nathaniel, oblivious to my presence, pressed his lips against her bare shoulder, his fingers tracing slow patterns along her spine. My fists clenched, rage coiling like a serpent in my chest. "Are you going to stand there all night?" Emma's voice was steady, teasing. Nathaniel stiffened, turning toward me. His smirk faltered, replaced by something resembling intrigue. "Well, this is unexpected." My entire body burned, but I refused to let them see my pain. I stepped forward, hands shoved in my pockets, forcing a calm I didn't feel. Funny. I could say the same. Emma exhaled, stepping away from him, her dress sliding higher as she perched on the edge of a sleek glass table. "You followed me," she mused. "Guess that means you don't trust me." I laughed, a bitter sound scraping from my throat. "Trust you? Emma, you've been sneaking around behind my back, lying straight to my face. And now I catch you like this." I gestured toward Nathaniel, who merely watched, unreadable. She crossed her legs, her expression unreadable. "You never asked me what I wanted." My jaw tightened. "And what is that, exactly?" Nathaniel leaned against the wall, arms folded. "Maybe you should let her speak." I turned to him, fury bubbling beneath my skin. "Shut the hell up." He smirked. "Touched a nerve, huh?" Emma's sigh filled the tense space. "I needed something different. We've been stuck in the same routine for years. No passion, no excitement." My stomach twisted. "So, you fixed that by crawling into bed with him?" She shrugged. "He makes me feel alive." The words sliced through me like a blade. The woman I had loved, the woman I had given everything to, dismissing me like I was nothing more than a placeholder. Nathaniel stepped forward, eyes gleaming. "Look, man, it's not personal. Some people just outgrow each other." I snapped. Faster than I could think, my fist connected with his jaw, the impact sending him stumbling back. He cursed, wiping blood from his lip, his expression morphing into something cold. Emma gasped, but she didn't move to stop me. Nathaniel straightened, rolling his shoulders. You've got a temper. I like that. I wanted to hit him again. Wanted to tear apart everything he represented. But then Emma stood, stepping between us. Enough, she commanded, her tone sharp. I expected more from you. I laughed, the sound hollow. You expected me to just accept this? To stand by while you humiliated me? Her lips curled. You never saw me, not really. You were comfortable, predictable. But Nathaniel, he knows how to make me feel wanted. I stared at her, disbelief mixing with rage. Then why keep me around? Silence. Nathaniel chuckled, brushing dust from his shirt. Because people like you are easy to control. Emma's eyes flickered, but she didn't deny it. Something inside me snapped, but not in the way I expected. The anger, the hurt, the betrayal, it all melted into something cold, calculating. Enjoy each other, I murmured, stepping back. Because when I'm done, you won't have anything left. Emma's confidence wavered. What does that mean? I smiled. You'll see. Then I walked out, leaving behind the wreckage of what we once were. But this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Walking away from Emma and Nathaniel that night didn't mean surrender. It meant strategy. I needed to strike at the perfect moment, when the facade they built for themselves would crumble in their hands. Emma believed she had won. She thought she had broken me, that I would fade into the background while she indulged in her reckless affair. But what she didn't realize was that I had been preparing for this moment long before I ever confronted her. For months I had noticed the cracks, the secret messages, the strange expenses, the way she started pulling away. So, I did what any man in my position would do, I planned. I hired a private investigator. Every hotel, every rendezvous, every whispered conversation, captured. Not just pictures but financial records, conversations, and even videos of their interactions. The evidence was undeniable. And Emma had no idea. The setup. The perfect opportunity presented itself when Emma invited me to a high-profile gala. She acted as though nothing had happened, as though our confrontation in the penthouse suite had been a mere argument rather than a declaration of war. She smiled at me over dinner, reaching for my hand like a devoted wife. We should talk after this, she said sweetly. I think we can work things out. I played along, nodding. Of course, Emma. Let's talk. She had no clue. The room was packed with executives, media personnel, and investors, many of whom knew me well. I had built my name in this city, earned my reputation. Emma had always enjoyed the benefits of my success, basking in the prestige that came with being my wife. Tonight, that would change. As she mingled with guests, I gave the signal. The massive projector screens across the venue flickered, hijacked by my carefully curated presentation. First, a picture of Emma and Nathaniel, locked in an intimate embrace at the very hotel where I had caught them. Gasps rippled through the crowd. People turned to her, whispers breaking the polite facade of the evening. Emma froze. Her face drained of color as more images surfaced, messages between her and Nathaniel, their rendezvous meticulously documented. Then, the final blow. A video of Nathaniel himself, speaking to an unknown associate. She's easy to manipulate, he had said, his smirk evident. She thinks she's using me, but once I drain her bank accounts, I'm gone. Silence. Emma's breath hitched, her eyes darting wildly. Turn it off, she screamed, but it was too late. The damage was done. The fall. Nathaniel, the ever-smooth talker, tried to slip away unnoticed, but security was waiting for him. Not only had I exposed their affair, but I had also uncovered his fraudulent dealings, ensuring that authorities would take interest in his financial activities. Emma turned to me, desperation replacing her usual arrogance. How could you do this? I smiled. You underestimated me. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, we can fix this. I leaned in, lowering my voice. You broke us the moment you let him touch you. Then, I walked away, leaving her standing in the ruins of her own choices. By morning, the headlines were everywhere. Emma's reputation? Destroyed. Nathaniel? Behind bars. And me? Free. Free to start over. Free to build something real. And for the first time in a long time, I felt alive.